everyone, I'm Ari, here with Rachel, and we're your hosts for the Merry Writer podcast. This week we're on episode 309, asking, how do you know when your draft is complete? Before we start, don't forget to visit and follow our Ko-fi page. You can access lots of free goodies, and if you're in a position to support us financially, you can become a Merry Writer for just $2 a month. And for this, you get exclusive monthly content. Everything earned on Ko-fi does go back into keeping the show going, so we really do appreciate any support. So if you heard episode, I believe it's 307, we actually discussed how many edits your manuscript might need to go through before sending it to an editor. And then we shared the levels of edits we do, me and my crazy amount, and Rachel with her more sensible amount. So today we're actually talking about when your manuscript is like complete. Okay, so what do we mean by complete? You've got two stages, which could be it's ready for betas and editors, or yes, you do need both. Or it could be ready for publishing. And honestly, the answer to both of those stages is there is no 100% mark for when it's complete. It's something that you have to just figure out yourself for your own perspective. I think there's a sense of we have an idea. You know, if you've done 2 drafts and you think it's ready, no, I'm going to say no. If everybody in the world has had a look at it and your editor and you're still holding on to it, that's also going to be you're holding on to it too long. But in general, it's a bit of a nebulous sense. So there are a few things you can consider that might help you know when your draft is complete. Rachel, take it away.
I took Ari's question literally when she said, how do you know when your draft is complete? So those are my notes. And first and foremost, I just want to say trust your gut. Because if it feels done, or if it feels like you can't take the story or the characters any further, chances are you can't. And that means it's time to either hand it to someone else for their input, such as beta readers or a close writer friend, family member, writer group, whatever, or your editor, duh. And but otherwise, depending on the stage of the process, wherever you are, like however many drafts you have, it could actually be complete. So don't think about it too much. If your gut is telling you that your manuscript is done, chances are it probably is, because I don't know, just trust yourself. Just trust yourself. You know more than you think.
And I think even if it's ready, if it's completed and it's about to go to someone like a beta reader, an editor, that's good, because then they'll tell you if it's like, no, it's not ready. And if you're like, I feel like it's ready, and you've had all the betas and editors say, yep, good job, then that's a good way too. So I think having the need to go to other people and having their feedback hopefully would give you honest feedback saying like, yay. And then, yeah, if your gut's at the same time going, yeah, it's ready, that's a good point.
Oh, exactly. Because the other thing is, you might just be editing it for the sake of editing it. Because editing can be a form of procrastination. It doesn't always feel like it because it feels like we're being productive, because editing is a huge chunk of the writing process. And obviously, it's needed. So even if you're just making little notes here and there, or you're fixing small typos, it feels like you're being productive. But it gets to a point where it might actually be procrastination. And sometimes that procrastination comes from you not being ready to let go of your manuscript. So you kind of need to find that line and just cross it. And once you do, you'll thank yourself for it. My other point is how to know when your draft is complete is if you're just getting sick of it. Because let's be real, we all get sick of our manuscripts at one point or another. I know I have. I mean, The Perfect Alibi is a perfect excuse for that. I've been working on that for more than a decade. And yeah, if you're getting sick of it, it could be a sign that you simply need a break. But if you take that break and come back to your manuscript with a fresh mind and realize that there still isn't much else to do, then hooray, you're probably done.
I think that's the best idea, is stepping away from it. Because usually if you step away and then come back after a week or a month or whatever, and you see it with fresh eyes, you're like, oh God, look at all these errors or issues. But a really clean manuscript, you'll get to a point where it's like, even when you step away, you'll come back and you'll enjoy reading it. And it'll be like, oh wow, this is really good. That's what you want. You want to start falling in love with it again, and you want to start reading it like a reader and not constantly analyzing anything. So yeah, I really do think that that's it.
No, I like that. You want to get to a point where you start reading it like a reader rather than a writer. And yeah, you do want to fall in love with it again because it is a lot of work and it's your baby, so you want to actually like it.
Yeah, I totally agree. The other one I think is how I think betas work really well is if you have a beta team before you send your manuscript to your editor. So they give you some good feedback, hopefully. Then it goes to an editor, and then more betas. Now, they can be right at the end if you want. I think it's actually a good idea to have like some dev edits and then betas, and then a little, like maybe a copy line edit, and then proofreader. But I do think two sets of betas spread out can be really good, especially if it's a bigger novel. And I think when your last set of betas are giving you little feedback, when it's more like, yeah, I really like this, or it's, small tweaks, that's when I think that's a good point where you're thinking, okay, I'm in a good stage now. If you're still worrying and panicking and stressing about it and making lots and lots of tweaks yourself after that, then you could be in a loop. And that's the next point. Can you wait too long? Yes, you can. And if you've been there, and I know I have, and I know Rachel has, you can get stuck in these like editing loops where it almost feels weird to let go because you're striving for a perfectionism level that does not exist. We've all read traditional published books that are incredible and that have still got a spelling error or something that didn't work. It happens. You can have as many eyes on it as possible, and some little thing will still sneak through. So if you are struggling like this, speak to your editor, speak to your betas or your CPs or just somebody else, put another pair of eyes on it again and just see what they say. And not to find loads of faults, but just like, do you think it's ready yet? Because I think the problem is we do often strive for perfectionism. We do often suffer from imposter syndrome, which kind of really throws a spanner in the works and sort of grinds us to a halt while we're like, no, 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 it's not perfect, it's not perfect, it's not perfect. If you're constantly looking for perfect, it's never going to get done. I speak from experience. So I'm sorry to say that again, this sort of episode is more of a nebulous. It's like, it's up to you. When is your draft complete? I think if it's gone through edits, if it's gone through betas, if it's gone through alphas, if it's gone through the odd family friend or writer friend, if it's had proofreaders, I think it might be time. You need to let it go. And even if you find another spelling error, fix it and just release, because if you keep reading it, you'll go back to hating it, and then you might not want to publish it at all because you hate it.
It does get to a point where you just get sick of it and you just want it to be done, depending on how many rounds of edits you've done and stuff. But I agree with everything that Ari is saying. Even when I got my books proofread, I did not read through my manuscript again after that. I had planned to read it out loud to myself and narrate it and then listen back and find more typos and stuff. But once the proofreader came back, I read it, I did all the notes that they left and whatnot, and then I was gonna do one more read through, and I was like, you know what? The proofreader was the last set of eyes. I can't look at this again because I will find things to fix and I will screw up further and I will mess up their notes and I will make new typos and I'm done. So you just need to kind of stand your ground. Once you tell yourself you're done, just be done. Don't second guess yourself. It's like taking a test at school. If you have a multiple choice question and you think the answer is C, and then you fill in the bubble and you're like, oh, well, maybe it's B, chances are the answer is actually C. So just let it go.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to make that decision, that kind of like final decision, and not because, as you said, if you'd have reread it and if you had found a mistake, then you could have fixed it and put it out. Or what could have more likely happened is you would have been like, well, I better read it again. I better read it again. Maybe I need another proofreader. And it's just the loop all over again. And we don't need a loop. Sometimes you just got to let it go. I say that while currently recording in the middle of my own edits, after I've just got it back from the editor, and I'm trying not to overthink too much. I'm just doing what the editor has told me to, that I agree with, which is almost all of it, and then I'm going to have to let it go. So again, deadlines are quite a good thing. And Rachel made a point, like she was going to read it to herself and then record it and like listen to it back. That's another good one. You could say, right, the final thing is to have um read to text to read, whatever it is, where you can put it in Word and it talks back to you. you could do that. But I think you need a deadline. I think you need a cutoff point that, like, if it's done, it's done. Like when you used to be in exams and they're like, pencils down. Yes, I'm going to the back to the age when you had pencils and paper and you weren't on a computer doing your exam. But you put it down and that was it. No more chances. You couldn't carry on writing. You just lost it all. That was what you had to do. And we need that. We need someone to scream pencils down. But there isn't anyone, so you just have to do it yourself. This is a weird episode. I know. It's sometimes we get these ideas and then we think, is this a good idea? And we still go through with it. So we hope you enjoyed it at least. I have nothing else to add, Rach?
No, I'm good. This was a weird episode, but I think it was needed to say. It was needed to. That was a good sentence. Leave that in.
I will. I think often our episodes come because it's our lived experience. Like I have got caught in loops. Rachel's got caught in loops. So sometimes it's like, okay, this is the mistakes we've made. So we're going to mention it in an episode. Whether that helps you or not is by the by. However, we're at least addressing it. And you might find yourself going, oh, yeah, I do that. Okay, I'm going to try and stop doing that now. That's what we're here for. Yeah. Now we want to hear your thoughts. What is your marker for your draft being complete? Do you have one, or are you stuck in a loop? Let's chat about it in the comments. Remember, we release new episodes every Wednesday. Next week, we're interviewing a special guest. To ensure you don't miss it, hit the subscribe button on your way out. If you'd like to know more about us, check out our website at themerrywriterpodcast.podbean.com and over on our coffee page for more content. Thanks for listening to the Merry Writer Podcast. We'll see you next week. This podcast is brought to you by Writing Distractions. We're stalling on our wit. The music titled Inspired is by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons 4.0.